Ta-da. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Wait, is that actually recording? All right, good. Red, red, red. Okay.
Boom.
Oh yeah, we got our little movie scene.
Our
thing.
slate.
Okay.
You don't even know what it's called.
Whatever it's called. It's a
What
movie
is
thing.
it?
I call it a
What
movie
is it
thing.
called?
I think it's called a slate.
You know what these are for, actually? You know why they have these in movies?
Go ahead and tell me.
No. You know?
No. He likes to test people. Let's hear
Yeah,
your
he
knowledge.
does. Wow. That's true. He
Yes.
does like to
He
test
likes,
people.
It's like this
Constantly.
superiority complex. He's like, I know something you don't. It's like, that's
Yeah.
great.
I don't even want
Let's
to
hear
tell you
it.
anymore.
I want to hear. You have to now. You don't have
Anyways,
a choice.
they use this to sync the audio.
Oh,
So once this happens, boom, that's where they picked up the audio from everybody's mic.
Wow, where'd you
Thank
get that
you.
information from?
I learned this from this really great media guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is his name Jeremy?
His name is Jeremy.
Oh, I think I might know him. Well, I've met him.
Briefly. That's right. You guys don't know a whole lot about each other.
No.
So, this is Chris.
Hello.
Hey, Chris.
This is Jeremy. Chris is one of the dog trainers that I'm a fan of. So,
All right. He doesn't have a lot of favorites. So
I
that's
don't.
saying
Like,
something.
there's a lot of dog trainers in Washington. There's only a small handful that I respect, or I'm like, oh, I like the work that they do.
Oh,
And you're one of those.
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's
As you
amazing.
openly say on a podcast, everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck? What the? He doesn't respect me."
There's a short list. There's more.
You're like,
than
I
just
better
her.
be on that short list.
Yeah.
And you better publish it now.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Publish
Yeah.
that shit.
I won't publish it. But, yeah, she's on that short list.
I mean, I don't have a lot of dog training. I mean, I have more favorites now, but I don't have any local favorites.
I know.
I don't
Well,
know too
hello.
many. I
No, I'm
don't. Hello. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still new to it too, so I've only been a trainer for like a year and some change. So
That's a very short period of time.
It is.
yeah, tell
What
me
did you
about
come out of?
it. What do you mean? Like,
Professionally, what did you do before?
I was a truck driver for about 13 years, and then I was like, "Fuck this! I'm about to go do something else," and I just like quit randomly one day. And then at that time, I had a dog.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of training with him, and I felt sort of stuck on a plateau.
Yeah.
And so I was struggling to try to get to the next step, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go and do this professionally. I feel
You
like
were like, I need to train my dog. Let's make it professional. Was it after you started training?
yeah, well, yeah, I had already got up to a certain point where
Oh, I see.
I was like pretty good. I had like kind of hit a plateau, and then I decided to go and do it professionally. He gave me the opportunity to work here, and I'm off that plateau. I'm on a new plateau now.
Look at you. You're Mr. Inspirational.
He is.
Changing people's lives.
He is. He definitely motivated me to like step it up. So, yeah.
Good.
Especially for like, yeah. Now my dog has German commands because of you.
Oh,
I was gonna do it
dear.
anyways, but when I got here and I heard him speaking to his dog in German, I was like, I'm about to execute that immediately.
It's just like, I feel like okay, you're not going to like this because the way that I work with dogs is totally different, and I do respect what you do, bite work, obedience, all of that. I do respect that quite a bit. But there are like fads in dog training. Like,
Fair?
oh, they're speaking German. I've
Yeah.
got to do that with my dog.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
It only matters for competitive sport, right? But otherwise, it doesn't matter. But you just like feel very official and cool, right?
I was working on my dog in my condos, and this lady came up and she was like, "What are you speaking to your dog?" And I was like, "It's just some German commands." And she was like, "How do you do that?" And I'm
Well,
like, in my head,
say the word.
I say that, yeah. In my head, I'm like, this doesn't matter. Like, this is nothing you should be concerned with. Honestly, the fact that my dog can like do like things like with German commands is, even when I'm doing it, I'm like, this is I feel
But
kind of
people
pretentious.
really feel, yes, pretentious.
Yeah.
People really feel like they're doing something.
Yeah, it ain't doing really that much. It ain't that important. If you're like PSA, IGP doing all that, yeah, it's super important for you. But if you're not doing any sport work, you're kind of just showing off.
Right, and there's like this image, like bite work, protection work, speaking German. And there's like a certain type of client you're going to get
Yeah.
who's drawn to that, like, you know, it's kind of.
They probably have no.
It's kind of like that guy. It's kind of like that guy that gets the big truck.
Yeah,
Wow.
compensator. So that's why I drive a small truck.
Good job. That's how you're gonna pull them. Because when we see the big one, we're like,
There's a guy actually. I follow him on Instagram. He has a huge lifted ass, like I don't know, like F-250. It's jacked. It's so sick actually. And on the tailgate it says #compensating.
hey, at least he owns it.
Yeah, I like it.
I like honesty and translucency. So.
I agree
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Transparency is a big thing, especially in the dog training world.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Does it exist?
Yeah.
I try to be as transparent as possible, but we've had this conversation before, and sometimes transparency can be a little intimidating for some people, I feel like. And so...
In what regard? Providing feedback?
Like as for an example, like, I don't know, the amount of time it's going to take to train a dog. Like, there's some times where I kind of hold back on that because I don't want people to get like, how long did you say? Like, that's way too long. And I feel like that could be kind of intimidating for some people sometimes. As an example, I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head right now.
I think a lot of people come that, especially if they don't know anything about dogs, it's very transactional. Like, you know what the calls I don't like getting is when people call me and say, oh, I have this dog, he's this age, how much is dog training? There's so many variables to consider. Like, there's so many things to consider that it's hard to give you a straight, your dog is going to be perfect in 15 sessions or whatever it's going to be.
You know, those calls I struggle with because it becomes, if I pay this, I get this product.
Exactly. It's very transactional.
And it really has nothing to do with that. My time is worth money. My experience is worth money. Whether you follow through with your dog or not is completely on you. So you can either make it cheaper or more expensive depending on what you decide to do. I'm very direct. I'm like, do you want to save money? Do you want to pay me more or pay me less?
Yeah.
Follow through.
Yeah.
But I don't come at it mean like that. I mean, I try to inspire the client. I am. I'm very inspirational.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I think we were talking about this morning, as a trainer, you should be very positive, have all your ducks in a row, and be a very influential and like a positive person so that you can push people through moments when they're struggling.
I really try to shift the conversation from being transactional to, it's more about the journey. Like, it's more about the process. Like, it's more about getting into that part of things. Yes, we're going for a goal. We're absolutely going for that goal, but understanding that it's not like baking a cake. It's not like, oh, we put this in, we put that in, we put this in, and voila, 30 minutes later you got a cake. Like, it's not. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
There's too many variables.
So when you have clients call, what is the main goal? Because that's where I start. Well, what are your goals?
Yeah.
And so for the clients you get, because you're getting a different echelon of clients than I am, right?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like, wait a minute, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
Answer my question first.
Okay.
What are the goals? What are the main goals that the clients you get? What do they want? What are they hoping for?
This is what they say. That I'd say 75% of the people say, I just want a good dog.
Oh.
But the problem is, a good dog is a subjective term.
Absolutely.
It's a good dog to the man down the street, to the woman up north. Like, it differs. And so I really try to get into that conversation of lifestyle. Like, what do you really, really want from your dog? Because for some people, sitting around and doing nothing is what they want from their dog. Like, to them, that's a good dog. And for some other people, I want a super active dog, and I want to take them to the beer gardens, and I want to do this and that. Very different dogs. And so I try to help people think about those things without being, I don't want to say I'm not direct, but I ask them questions to make them think about those things so that they can come to that conclusion themselves. Because most people, when they're looking for dog training or they're trying to figure out what they want out of their dog, they don't have a clue. They have no idea what they want from their dog. Like, 9 times out of 10, that is the situation. They have no idea, and they think that I'm going to be the magical wizard that's going to take your dog from, I don't like him now, you're going to make me like him now. Mm-hmm. And that's not always the case.
Right.
And so, yeah, Now back to my type of clients.
Upper echelon.
Well, I mean, it goes back to the truck analogy.
What do you think we do here?
No, I think you get a lot of strong breed dogs,
100%.
working dogs.
Yes.
I think you get a lot of probably people who get these strong breed working dogs. They didn't really know what they were in for.
Fair.
They come here, you have to,
Yeah.
I think it's more like obedience training. You probably get a lot of men with their, Malinois and their... I know you get
She's
women.
actually kind of nailing it. I mean,
but you get a different type of clientele
Sure.
than I do.
Yeah. No offense to anybody with Malinois and big
No,
trucks.
we love them. We love them.
we love small dogs too.
Obedience work, I love it, and I
Sure.
do it with
Yeah.
my dogs, but that isn't the premise of what I do.
Speaking of that, why don't you tell us what you do? Because Jeremy, he hasn't known you as long as I have, so I want you to kind of tell us like what you do, what's your process like. I've talked to him a little bit about how you kind of vet clients as far as how you choose who you're going to work with. I want you to tell us more about that.
So the way that I work is I don't want to be in a situation where I don't love my job. Okay, we've all done work that has been difficult for us because either the owner isn't following through, the dog is suffering, and we have built a bond with the dog, and we feel powerless. That is the worst feeling for a trainer, to see a dog that isn't being fulfilled properly, that there's a behavioral issue, that we can see how to adjust it, but the human is resistant, right?
Yeah.
And so, we have to get creative. We find different analogies. We find different ways to inspire. We go that route. At least I do. And I think you do as well.
Thank you.
But based on what Jeremy said anyway. But in reality, I do not want to work with clients who are not going to follow through. Because it takes too much out of me mentally and emotionally. I want, and I am very clear about that. We are going to get to this place. I can do all of these things with your dog, but if I don't teach you how to do it, what's the point?
Yeah.
You can send your dog to a board and train for 6 weeks, know nothing that's occurring, get the dog back, who knows what's happened with the dog, and real sketch. And then, let's say it was a really decent board and train. And the dog comes back and they're doing really good, your lifestyle, the relationship that you have with your dog can completely unravel all of that work.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what I do with your dog. What I do is I teach. That is my goal. And I teach things that most trainers don't even want to touch on. I talk about the elephant in the room. I do it in a compassionate and empathetic way.
What's the elephant in the room?
Please elaborate on this. I like everything so far. Please elaborate on this.
Which part?
Elephant in the room.
So, for instance, if I go into a client's house, I'm very empathetic. I can feel everything that's happening. And you know that, for instance, here's a scenario I'm sure you've seen, where the woman in the relationship, whether they're married or not, it doesn't matter, is taking over with the dog, right? Now the dog is becoming reactive or having some aggressive tendencies. I use that word lightly, right? More reactive, all of that, towards the male.
Yeah.
Okay? We know what's happening.
Right.
There is a deeper issue, and it has nothing to do with the dog. We have to address the elephant in the room. But I am so skilled at it now.
I'll be honest, I don't think I'm that skilled at that part.
That's why I wanted you to elaborate, because we've had this conversation before, and explaining to people in a delicate way, because what I want to say is, yo, you fucking suck at this. Like, you need to fucking cinch up on your handling skills. But how do you say that in a really nice way? And you're right, it takes a lot out of you mentally, emotionally, because you have to think of like these really like nice and neat ways to package it up and deliver it to them.
I don't use my intellect. When I don't use intellect when I am connecting with another human that is going through something that I know is traumatic.
Yeah.
I don't use intellect. The only way that I use it is when I'm formulating analogies to help them to see what the truth is. Okay? But I will tell you, and this is a total hippie quote. This is my favorite quote.
I love hippies.
Okay? And this is how I communicate with my clients, okay? You're going to love this. It's very, very pink and furry and funny and rainbows. Okay.
All right.
The truth without love isn't the truth.
Fair.
I'm going to say it one more time. The truth without love isn't the truth.
Right.
If my intention is in a loving manner because I really do care about the person feels my intention.
Sure.
Okay? And I wrote a quote recently on my Instagram about this. Humans feel intention more than they hear words.
That's true.
If that person can sense that I'm really there for them, they feel it, they open up their mind and their ears a little bit more to receive what I have to say. Okay? So if I go at them, and I've had this happen, don't think I don't go through this, where I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Why do they continue to do this? I take a breath, and then I try, like you. I love what you said about asking questions, because asking questions is such an amazing teaching point, because we are teachers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We teach humans. And if you think you're going to get into dog training and just work with dogs, this
Sounds good, right?
Figured that out real
is
quick.
not what's going to happen. We have to find different ways of teaching. And we have to be flexible in our teaching skills, not just with dogs, right? But with humans. And if we can touch the human's heart in some way, they're going to be more receptive.
Sure.
So, I don't know, like,
I like it.
Yeah.
I have
like
a
it.
way of communicating that, but I think some of it is just my gut feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
Like,
Go
there
on.
are times where I know I'm not going to say something.
Yeah.
Why?
I can feel it. It's not the right time. Timing is everything.
Sure.
Right.
But there's no mathematical equation. Some of it's just in my gut.
Okay,
Right.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll buy that.
I mean, a lot of times when people are struggling with their dogs, whether it be communicating with their dogs or whatever have you, it's not just there. Like, they're struggling in life too. Like, they're struggling with other areas in their life that they don't know how to control or communicate whatever needs to be communicated in that moment. How can you as a dog trainer go in, like, you're almost like a therapist at that point. Like, now you're trying to be a therapist and unpack all their childhood trauma.
Yes.
And relate it back to how they handle their dog. Like,
Absolutely. I
how
do
do you
it.
do all that?
I do it. You should see a session.
Yeah.
I do it every time.
Really?
And I try to see the person. I try to see. But I also there are parallels, just like you said, between their life and their relationship with the dog. That's why I consider myself to be a relationship-based behavioral dog trainer.
Fair.
That's why I am, because I talk about the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And the stuff that a lot of male trainers, I'm not saying you guys can't do it, but a lot of male trainers I've seen really struggle with compassion,
Sure.
really struggle. I've seen a lot of male trainers, and it can happen with women as well, but they'll walk in and they just want to show you what to do with the dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going to get anywhere with this, as you would say, transactional or mathematical equation. Do this and the dog does that. Do this and the dog does that. We're done. That is not going to help the dog. So in reality, our entire goal is to help the dog.
Sure.
The only way we are going to get to the root of the problem and to really help that dog, and that dog knows we're there to help. I swear they know. They look at me like, okay, man, can you tell her?
They're like looking for the leader, like who's running the show.
They literally come to me once they realize what I'm doing and what my intention is. They trust me. I feel like they know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then, so it is my job to relay these hard truths. It takes, it just takes a lot of opening ourselves up. So as trainers, in order for us to connect with our clients this way, we have to have a level of vulnerability.
For sure.
And so then it goes back to us in our lives. How much are we willing to share? Sometimes, and I don't tell my whole life story, God no. But I will say, if I have a client who's going through something and I have to explain, you're emotionally dumping on your dog.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. You're emotionally dumping on your dog.
That's what I call it, emotional dumping. I talk to them, I go, I did it to my first dog. I did it. I was going through a very hard time. But I noticed that once I adjusted the relationship, the behavioral issues decreased.
Yeah.
I said, there is a direct correlation between the behavior and emotional dumping. So I put myself out there and I tell them the truth. I've been there, I've done it.
Yeah.
I said, but look where I'm at now. You can do it too, right? So I kind of will make them feel comfortable because I'm not making them feel stupid. I'm not rolling my eyes at them. I'm making myself vulnerable and sharing a little about myself for that connectivity.
That is interesting.
And something we do not do at all. we were talking about this before. We ran to the store and we were talking about this exact thing. Like, yeah, I need to brush up on my vernacular so I can like
Say it.
figure out a way to be a little more delicate about
What
it.
is
I guess.
what's your client base look like?
In what regard?
Male versus female.
I do work with a lot of women.
Like, if you had to put percentages on it, what would you say?
I would say I work with a lot of women.
It's like 100%,
No,
98%,
probably 80.
80. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
And I feel like you guys may get a lot more males. I know you get women.
that's a perspective, but we still get more women than males.
Yeah.
Like we're probably about 70%
Because women
female.
want to fix problems.
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
Men, they go
Men,
into
they
denial.
think they have it, especially when I have like
Oh,
couples that come in here.
Yes.
There's always the male's like, oh, he just doesn't listen to her. He listens to me perfectly. And I see them struggling with their dog walking in the door.
And
But they
he's all
think they
like,
got it.
he's all like doing leash pops. Bam,
Yeah, he's like,
bam.
sit
And
down.
the dog's not even like, the dog's not responding to any of it. You
Okay.
can't man your way through this, okay?
Sure.
Couples are the hardest.
When working with women, and I kind of talked to Jeremy about this a little bit, is I feel like I'm always like dancing around things or trying to be delicate to the reason why they're struggling with their
You can't
dog.
do it. You can't because they're coming to you for help.
No, I'm going to help them, but I also don't want to make them feel like it's their fault, even though we all know it is their fault.
Yeah, I mean,
That is,
You know what I mean?
That is also subjective. So, okay, because you are in an abusive relationship and now your dog is becoming reactive towards the male and you're emotionally dumping on the dog, is that your fault that you're in an abusive relationship?
No.
But the fact is, you're in a toxic relationship.
Sure.
You are. And that's why this is happening.
damn, I never thought of it that way.
I mean, that's part of it, but compartmentalizing how you handle your dog and how you deal with the rest of your life.
So one way that I
important.
would address this issue, even though I already know what's happening, because I can feel it immediately, is I, like you do, I ask questions and I start talking about how emotions, so this is how one way I describe it to my clients. Our dogs are so intrinsically connected with us that they can smell cortisol levels rising.
Sure.
They are so in tune to you that any emotion you feel and anything you're going through, they feel it as well.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling?
We always ask people that when they come into class. How's it
Yeah,
going?
but
How
I
you
feel like it's
feeling
like a
today?
more of a passive, like, how are you feeling? It's not like a, dump your day on me kind of thing. It's more of just like,
I want them to tell me. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to trust me because
Yeah.
if they can trust me, again, they can feel my intention.
Sure.
I'm not there to tell them they're stupid.
Yeah.
I'm there to really be there for them. They start opening up.
Yeah.
And as they open up, I have more chances to guide.
I feel like working with women, you're trying to find, like, especially me as a man, like me, like I feel like you coming from another woman, I feel like the conversation might be a little bit different, right? Versus, I feel like it is.
I
Like I
think
feel like
you
you're
can
much more
do it.
likely to get a woman to open up to you.
I know men
versus
in this
me.
business. I know men in this business who do it very well.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
One person that comes to mind, one of my dear friends,
Yeah.
Dog Fit Dallas, Art Ortiz.
Okay.
He knows how to speak to women. He knows, and he can address the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's some other trainers that do it to an extent, and they're working on it, but it should be something that we're constantly working on.
Sure.
Better communicating,
Yeah.
right? And I think when you're around somebody that does it well, because all of us have our natural ways of being, and I've talked to you about this, you know, and you're comfortable communicating with this type of person.
Sure.
Or working with this type of dog. But we should always be working on what challenges us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We should always be trying.
Do you take strong dogs?
I will, once in a while.
Once
yeah.
in a while?
Yeah, I do. I don't do dominant aggression.
Okay.
I told you that.
Yeah.
I will take forward dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had forward dogs.
Yeah.
You know, and I will do fear aggression. Nervous, you know, some of those things.
Yeah.
But dominant aggression, I don't do.
Okay.
I don't think I really want to do it, honestly.
I don't blame you.
Why?
I don't blame you.
And that's your forte,
I know.
you know?
I mean, I'll do it, and I like it. I like it because I like the turnaround part on the other side. But tell me why you don't want to do it.
Well, okay. I am open-minded.
Okay.
So if I had a mentor
Sure.
that was there to build me up to deal with dominant aggression, I probably would do it more.
Okay.
But I feel when you're working with those types of dogs that it takes, when you're working on whatever it is that challenges you the most, it is an internal transformation that has to happen.
Sure.
I have to become stronger, right? There's no weakness.
Yeah.
You have to, and some people are just naturally that way. And that person that deals with dominant aggressive dogs, get them a fearful, anxious, nervous fear biter, where they have to bring their energy all the way down.
Yeah.
That will challenge them.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm down to learn, but I haven't had the mentor probably
Got
to
you.
do it. And I don't think you see as many dominant aggressive cases.
There's not that many. Like most of it's fear-based. Like that's the
Right,
majority
I
of it.
agree.
Most of it's fear-based. But occasionally you do get that dog that's
dominant, yeah. It's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Have you ever been bit before?
Yeah.
I mean, like bit bad.
No.
Okay.
I'm not cool now.
I'm just asking.
He does that to me.
Well,
He's like, you're
I
not a
have
real
this
dog
theory.
trainer until you've been bit bad.
Exactly.
Wait, what was that?
He's like, you're not a real dog trainer until you've been bit bad. And I've only been bit a few times, but my most recent one is still healing actually, and my ego, as it were. But
I think that every bite is preventable.
Sure.
I don't, you know, one of the things, so Sherry, my mentor, Sherry Wolf Lucas, she works with every kind of dog.
Yeah, she
She's
does
one of-
dominant aggressive dogs, right?
She deals with everything.
Okay.
Yes. And one of the things I was talking to her, one of the last workshops, a few workshops ago, she said to me, dogs really don't want to bite.
Yeah.
That's not what they want to do. And it was interesting to hear her perspective on this. I mean, but she can read dogs like this and know if she can touch them or not. Like,
Yeah.
she just knows. She feels it. She's been doing it for so many years. She really is a badass, and I keep asking you to go.
I
but-
want to go. Like, I really, like, honestly, I really want to go.
You would be so impressed to see a woman be able to do the things she does.
No, I know she has a wealth of knowledge, and that's why I want to go. And
Yeah.
like I said, I like what you do and what she does also because it's a very different approach than
Yes.
the stuff that we do here. And I like that approach. Honestly, I'm just a dog person. I like anything. I don't care if you're meditating with dogs or you're doing pack walks or you're doing corgi races. I don't care what it is. It all interests me in the realm of dogs and doing stuff. Obviously, I love the protection side of things, but Yeah, it's all amazing to me, honestly. So that's why I do want to go get around more people that are doing different things with dogs and taking different approaches with dogs. Because like I said, what you do and that whole energy hippie-ish thing, like
whatever.
I like it.
It totally works.
I love it though. I'm serious. Like I love it. I love it. It's very different.
It's very connecting.
Yes.
and it's very very few words.
Yeah.
It's literally just me, the dog, and connecting.
Sure.